So sometimes as parents, we can actually help build these skills, which would make them do a lot better in school. Now, what can we do with our 5 to 7-year-olds? Card and board games. Now, card games require players to remember the location of particular cards. So we're exercising our working memory. So if we're doing Go Fish or Old Maid, if we're playing 21, then we get a 2-for-1 because children are learning how to count as well as practicing their executive function skills, because they have to remember the rules of the game in order to play the game well. Now, when we look at games like Uno, children, again, they're practicing cognitive flexibility. Games that require fast responses and monitoring, it's good for challenging their attention and, again, self-regulation. Now, basically any board game or card game that involves some sort of strategy, some sort of rules, that gives the child an opportunity to hold a plan in mind. Because sometimes even if you're playing domino and you're reading the board, you decide, I'm going to play this card next. And then you might decide, oh no, I'm not going to play this one. I'm going to play the 2 because there's a 2 at the other end of the board. And I can remember mommy or daddy had to pass because they didn't have a 2. So if I put the 2 here, they have to pass again and I can win the game. So right away, you're seeing them keeping track of what is happening, which is improving their working memory. And they are thinking a little bit more flexibly, because if I do this, then this can happen. And if I do this, this happened. All of this goes through your mind while you are playing a game. And then they have to self-regulate. If I look too eager, if I jump up and put the card down or the domino down too early, then everybody would know what I'm playing. So you want to, they would just have to sit and wait for their turn without giving away their next move. So we're talking about working memory, self-regulation, and we're talking about cognitive flexibility. Now we're going to look a little bit in terms of physical activity, and then we're going to talk a little bit about movement, songs, and games. We all like games. But to play a game, it requires attention, and some of it requires quick responses again. Attention, you have to attend. You work in memory because we have to remember the rules. Self-regulation. We have to know when to perform the action. So for example, children between 5 and 7, you play red light, green light, or duck, duck, goose. Simon Says, on the river, on the bank. And that is how they practice that self-control, as well as their working memory. Fast-moving games, if we're looking like dodgeball, that require constant monitoring because you have to see where that ball is coming from. We have to follow the rules of the game. We have to do quick decision-making, and then again, we have to practice self-control. So we can see building executive function skills in our children, it's not a big task. It's not something that we cannot do. It simply means that we just have to go back to basically playing with them, engaging them, and talking to them. Now, when we look at physical activities that engage mindfulness and movement, such as yoga, taekwondo, karate, those help children to develop their ability to focus, pay attention, and control their actions. I know for my son, we actually put him into karate because we needed, he just had that extra energy. And he just needed an outlet for that energy. Okay. And even when we're looking at songs and games, the more complicated the songs or the game gets, the more it helps their working memory, the more it helps cognitive flexibility, the more it helps them with self-control. That game used to play 4 white horses on a rainbow. They have to remember the actions and they have to remember the words while they are doing the action. So again, we are targeting those skills that is really, really, really important.